What is going on, everybody? What is going on? The Catch fam, I hope you guys are doing phenomenal tonight, man. I hope everyone has had a great Wednesday. I hope you guys are ready for some fantasy football drafts because it is the last night of drafting, ladies and gentlemen. I'm bummed. I'm sad. I'm excited. I'm every emotion at once. We have got Thursday night football kicking off tomorrow. The NFL season for the 2023 year kicking off tomorrow. Fantasy football kicking off tomorrow. If you didn't draft tonight, I don't know when you're drafting. You're probably drafting in the morning. No one does that. Everyone's done drafting, but we've got underdog drafts to hop into. We've got a little bit more fantasy left for the off season, ladies and gentlemen. I'm excited as ever to be here tonight. Promo code The Catch to double your first deposit on Underdog Fantasy up to $100. Let's draft some fantasy teams tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Okay? On top of that, ask me any fantasy football questions, anything you've got. Team reviews, player questions. How do I feel about, I don't know, Sky Moore? How do I feel about Roschon Johnson? How do I feel about Geno Smith? Start sits. Should I start Christian Watson, who is questionable? Should I start Brandon Ayuk? I don't know. I actually like both those guys a lot. Trade questions, whatever you guys need. I'm just excited, guys. It's that time of freaking year. So, hop on in here, guys. Get in the live chat. Subscribe. Like the stream. Do all the YouTube stuff. We're entering a weekly winners to start the stream because I'm still obsessed with weekly winners, okay? If I don't do one more weekly winners, then what does this offseason even mean? But we've got the Puppy 4, which is at a 93.1% fill rate. I mean, this could literally fill by the end of the stream. So we're going to try and hop into a Puppy as well. I think we'll be able to get in. That's about it. It looks like, yeah, I mean, I told you guys yesterday, I didn't think by the time I got on stream we were going to have time to hop into Best Ball Mania. Looks like it's closed. But yeah, we'll probably just do the Puppy and weekly winners tonight, which I am okay with. So if you guys want to draft with me, let me know. I'll be in the lobbies. All right, we're filled up. J-Dubs is here. Let's go. Let's do it. Let's do it. Okay, give me one quick second here. And then we'll hop into the news. Is that really not you, J-Dubs? Oh my gosh, it's not you. No way. Okay, that's awkward. Oh, I'm at the 1.1. All right, sorry, guys. All right, let's take a look at the schedule. I'm just all over the place tonight. What? Maybe I should just, you know what? Let's just target week one. Just target week one. Okay? Let's do it. And you know what? I'm still just going to pick Justin Jefferson here. I mean, he gets the Bucks. Whatever. Just give me JJ. He usually plays well in week one. All right, so sorry, let me get one or two things pulled up very quickly. Then we'll go over some news today, which we do have like some pretty conflicting news. You know, I mean, official injury reports are going to scare a lot of people. I wouldn't get too worried about some of these reports, guys, okay? But we do have some things to go over, okay? The Jets worked out Kenny Golladay. There's your news. That's it, okay? Just kidding. George Kittle back at practice today. Cooper Kupp's been ruled out. I mean, I've been telling you guys for like days now, I did not think Cooper Kupp was going to play. So like this didn't really feel like big news to me, but it's official. Cooper Kupp's not going to play week one. For Travis Kelce, it is officially a bruised knee. He is questionable for tomorrow's game. Okay. Adam Thielen has been limited with an ankle injury. JSN is expected to play week one per Pete Carroll. The Arizona Cardinals are expected to start Josh Dobbs at quarterback, so start the Washington Commanders defense if your league has a defense team spot. Terry McLaurin, who's got the turf toe, is practicing today. Christian Watson and Romeo Dobbs, two guys that I've been pretty high on lately, are both on the injury report, and one did not practice today. Both have hamstring injuries. Okay. That's about it. I feel like there was, let me double check one thing, like one or two other little bits of news. Mark Andrews was back at practice, so we had that. But other than that, I still feel like I'm missing something. Hold on, I'm checking on my phone. Yeah, maybe it was just the Mark Andrews thing. Yeah, that's it. We had the Nick Bosa. Nick Bosa got paid. Treylon Burks was a full participant in practice today. And, yeah, there's a possibility that Cooper Kupp could go on IR, so that's fun. But that's it. That's your news. Let me know in the chat if any of that's relevant to you guys. Okay, I'm already way behind on the chat, so let's get into it. Chase, what's good, my guy? With Kupp out, should I start JSN or Mims? I mean, you're still kind of taking a dart throw either way between those two guys. I mean, two rookies, so you don't really know what you're going to get week one. Mims has the better matchup. I mean, it's not like JSN's matchup is bad, but the big question for you is Judy going to play? And, I mean, if Judy isn't out there, which I think Judy's probably going to be, but, you know, if that was the case, then Mims is the bona fide wide receiver 2. Well, maybe not bona, but probably the wide receiver 2. Whereas JSN's still the wide receiver 3 on the Seahawks. So, I don't know. I probably still feel better about the Hawks offense, so I probably go with JSN. Nico Collins. Yeah, I wouldn't start Nico Collins over those guys just because of the matchup. I agree. Boxing the Jack, what's up, bro? Bryce, what's up, man? We got Trevor Lawrence, Cook, Stevenson, Eli Mitchell, Bigsby, Diggs, Wilson, Watson, Deontay Johnson, Burks, Brandon Cooks, JSN, Mark Andrews, double flex. Who you starting week one? Also, any trades I should try? I mean, I don't think you need to do any trades necessarily. Maybe you could look for some running back depth. But yeah, I mean, obviously you're starting Trevor Lawrence, Cook, Stevenson, Diggs, Wilson, flexing Watson as long as he's healthy, then flexing Deontay Johnson. If Christian Watson's not playing, then you can flip a coin. Whoever you like more between Burks and Brandon Cooks. They're both kind of, I mean, maybe Cooks, but Burks could be a little stinky. Lattimore is going to be on D-Hop, so. Boxing Jack, my home league team, I have Diggs, James Cook, Monty, Amon-Ra St. Brown. Is it bad that I have all those guys that are on the same team? No, I mean, there's some risk involved, you know, when you're, like, double dipping into an offense. Obviously, if they have a bad week, like, you know, whatever. The more bad weeks they have, the more bad weeks you have in fantasy. But ultimately, you know, you look at a lot of teams, like last year, right? There were plenty enough teams that were productive on a weekly basis that if you own more than one fantasy or more than one player on the respective team in fantasy, it didn't hurt you, right? J-Dubs, what's up, man? Dom, should I pick up Van Jefferson and drop Marvin Mims? I mean, at the moment, there's more immediate value for Van Jefferson. Marvin Mims is more of a guy that we're kind of monitoring on the bench. So, like, if you're really hurting at wide receiver, then I'm probably going with Van Jefferson. If you feel pretty confident in your roster and you want to sit back a bit, then I think it's okay to hold on to Marvin Mims. All right, so I'm going to go Waddle versus the Chargers, Ridley versus the Colts. Let's just go heavy wide receiver to start. In this contest, weekly winners, I usually go quarterback early. But the way things are shaping out right now, like I could go Cousins and or Tua late, or maybe even be in a position to get T-Law. I don't know, though. By the time I mean, there goes Jackson, so I don't know about T-Law. But I'm okay with this start. Tommy, what's good, bro? It's going to be a great season. I'm excited. Jada's, we'll probably hop into a puppy after this. How do you feel about the Christian Watson injury? You know, like I said at the beginning of the stream, I don't want to overreact to the injury reports right now. Like, just, you know, think about when, like, it's week 6 or whatever, and like there's like 10 players who are startable players in fantasy who are popping up on the injury report. Like, and then they all play. Like, you know, like you got to think for some of these guys who have an established role, like we know they're the wide receiver 1, wide receiver 2, like Watson and Dobbs. You know, like the team already knows what they're going to do with them. If they're a little dinged up, they have to list it as something. They're going to give those guys an extra day off to be, you know, go through the injury protocol, get treatment, all that stuff. And more than likely, that's all it really is, you know? But then there's that small risk of like maybe it's a bigger problem. And that's something we want to think about. But, you know, obviously we hadn't heard about anything until the official injury reports had to go out. So for me, I'm not panicking. But if it's like Saturday and then there's reports coming out, like Matt LaFleur is saying like, yeah, well, you know, we're not really sure where Watson's going to be at, then that's something to think about. But at the same time, there are coaches out there who obviously use, you know, that to their advantage to kind of keep the opposing defensive coordinator, opposing team in general in limbo, you know. But my suspicion is Watson and Dobbs will be out there against the Bears. All right, let's see. Chase for my Superflex Dynasty, Titan Premium, the one you've seen hundreds of times. One of my flex, I have Schultz, but I have Dobbs, Rondell, Nico Brees, Shane, or Zay Jones. I would start Romeo Dobbs for sure. Yeah, we never did a Catch Fam Underdog League this year, did we, J-Dubs? Smokey, what's good, bro? Less than 24 hours. Let's go. Yeah, I'd love to have you hop into the puppy with me, Mr. Sarcastic, for sure. J-Dubs, if you have drafting fatigue, it's one more night, man. It's the last night, okay? Tough it out. All right, Filoni, what's good, dude? Need you to pick 2 out of 4 for my flex full PPR. Khalil Herbert, Christian Watson, Brian Robinson, DJ Moore. Whew. Yeah, that's tough because I like all these guys a lot this week. I think Herbert's going to have a pretty solid game. I like him against the Packers. I love Christian Watson this week. We just went over my feelings about the injury concern. I think he'll be okay. I like Brian Robinson a lot against the Cardinals, and I love DJ Moore. So I think full PPR, you still start the 2 wide receivers. You go Watson and DJ Moore. But if you're going to sneak anyone in, it's Brian Robinson against the Cardinals. Tommy, are JSN and Tank Dell flexible this week? I mean, they are in full PPR, but I don't like starting rookie wide receivers week 1, personally. So I wouldn't do it unless you're in a complete bind. Tony over Christian Watson this week? I wouldn't. I would go Watson still. Flex Pacheco or Devonta Smith and standard. Ooh. I do think Devonta Smith's going to be okay this week. But I think more so in full PPR. I might go Pacheco and standard. How do you like our 3-man trade? I don't even know what happened. I just approved it. Andrea, what's going on? Hello. Need 2 wide receivers. Amon-Ra, Chris Olave, Devonta Smith. I mean, I like Devonta Smith this week. It's a bad matchup, but most of that defensive pressure is going to be, you know, focused on A.J. Brown. And it's not a good matchup. Don't get me wrong. But I just think that he's going to be force-fed the volume because Belichick's probably going to look at this game plan and say, let's take away A.J. Brown or let's take away Jalen Hurts' ability to run the football. And ultimately, sorry, I'm trying to decide on this draft pick. I'm going to go Walker, but I almost went wide receiver. Ultimately, I think Devonta Smith is just going to get enough volume. Like, he's just going to be the guy who, they're going to account for him, but he sees less defensive pressure, and he's just going to get force-fed a lot of targets this week. So I still like Smith. I think he's fine, but I probably go Amon-Ra and Chris Olave this week. I mean, the Titans secondary was poor last year, And Amon-Ra, kickoff against the Chiefs, high-scoring affair. I'd probably go St. Brown and Olave, but it's really tough to bench Devonta Smith. But, you got 3 great wide receivers here, you know what I mean? So you can't really go wrong, Andrea. Trey, do you think Kelsey's playing tomorrow? I don't know. I think Kelsey could certainly play through this injury and not be 100%. And that's still going to have a massive impact on this game. Even if Kelsey's just out there running routes, not 100%, they still have to account for him, and he can still do damage. But it's a pretty risky situation for him to even be used as a quote-unquote decoy. So I don't quite know. Your guess is as good as mine, of course, but I have a suspicion that how are you going to risk a player of Travis Kelce's caliber this early in the season? They can win this game without Travis Kelce, and that's not a knock on the Lions, but they won the Super Bowl last year without Tyreek Hill. You've got the best play caller in the league, probably, and the best quarterback in the league. They can get it done, So it's gonna be a tough, close call here. Need to start 3.5 PPR: Sky Moore, Pacheco, or McKinnon. Well, those are 3. Sky Moore, Pacheco, and McKinnon are 3 players. So let me know if you need to update that question. If I had to start 2 of them in half PPR, I'd probably go Sky Moore and Pacheco. Is Flowers flexible this week? Flowers is the one rookie wide receiver this week that I'm taking a pretty heavy look at because I do like this matchup against the Texans, who the Texans were not that bad against opposing wide receivers last year. They were very bad against the run, but they weren't bad against opposing wide receivers. But I don't know. Sometimes you just look at a matchup, you get that feeling. I got that feeling about Zay Flowers in week 1. I think he's going to be just fine against the Texans. But, yeah, the rookie wide receivers this week, I want to kind of sit back and give it 2 or 3 weeks to see how these guys perform. You know what I mean? Sometimes it takes a little bit of time to get the steam going. Nick, would y'all trade Stevenson for Olave? Depends on your roster, but it's a fair trade. Mr. Sarcastic says, if Kelsey plays tomorrow, I doubt you see him playing his usual role. They probably give him a pitch count. That's probably fair. Albert, what's up, dude? Swa. Is it Swa or SWA? What's the right way to say your username? Just got offered Pollard, Olave, and Higbee for Kupp and Bijan. My team is Herbert, Bijan, Gibbs, Kupp, Wilson, and Njoku, Hollywood, Gibson, Judy, Burks, Johnson, McKinnon. Do I accept? That's a decent trade, but I'm not trading Bijan. No. That's a pretty fair trade. And that would turn your team to Herbert, Pollard, Gibbs, Olave, Wilson, and Njoku, Hollywood, Gibson. And you add Higbee, which I guess is fine behind Njoku. If you're really worried about the Kupp situation, I think you can actually consider this because I think Pollard could be a top 5 running back this year easily. I'm a big fan of Pollard. So I just can't imagine trading Bijan. That part of it really bothers me. But this trade does give you immediate value for your roster with the Kupp situation. Hey, Jeezy, what's up, man? Gibbs and Demont or Gibbs and Rashad? You can't really go wrong here. I like Rashad White a lot. This matchup against the Vikings is beautiful. Baker's going to dump it off to him. They're going to probably be playing from behind. I can see that game being pretty high scoring. I think Rashad White has really good upside this week. But I think David Montgomery is super safe this week. I don't mind Monty at all this week. So that's close. I don't think you can really go wrong with your RB2 spot there. I would say Monty for a floor, White for upside, PPR upside overall. Albert, half PPR, Javonte or James Cook. Sean Payton has come out and said that Sorry, my screen was like glitching out. Javonte Williams going to be pretty involved. So, dang it, I was really hoping Dotson would fall to me right there. It would have been beautiful. So I mean, like, that's interesting, I guess. He has a good matchup against the Raiders. So you might want to consider Javonte, but Cook's got not as good of a matchup, obviously, against the Jets. So it's a toughie there. I want to like Cook, and I want to like Javonte, but I don't know who I like more necessarily. I'm going to go Rachaad White here. So I got Monty against the Chiefs, White against the Vikings. Knock out some running backs here. Man, I just wanted Dotson so bad right there. It wasn't even funny. All right. Sean, would you start any rookie tight end in a 12-team home league? I mean, Laporta, Musgrave, like, they're worth a shot. But I just don't want to roll out a rookie. I don't really want to roll out any rookies outside of, like, Jahmyr Gibbs and Bijan Robinson week 1. I just don't. So it just depends on what situation you're in. Are we starting JSN this week? Too risky? I still think it's too risky. Could it pay off? Yes. But I think it's too risky. Smokey, what's the order? Jacobs, Pollard, Debo, London. Pollard, Jacobs, London, Debo. Gosh, poor Debo. We just all hate him. Debo's okay, but Jacobs and Pollard is who I prefer there, and I like London. GT Sport was good. Best option for tight end, Musgrave, Henry, or Isaiah Likely. Out of these options, I would go Musgrave. Tomorrow's video will be 3 streaming quarterback options, 3 streaming tight end options. So I will say there's no rookie tight ends on there. Filoni, you've also got London. It is really hard for me to scroll up in the chat, just so you guys know. I still go Watson and DJ Moore, but I like London a lot as well. Sam, Monty or Najee week 1? I will go Monty, Sam. I will go Monty. But Najee is going to have the volume. I just think Monty has a better matchup. Obviously, the Niners were the number 1 unit against the run last year, so I really like Monty this week, but I'm not out on Najee. I'm not low on Najee. In general, I just don't like his matchup against the Chiefs. I mean, against the Niners, excuse me. I like Monty's matchup against the Chiefs. Chase and Standard, I'd probably go Pacheco. George, Dobbins, Sanders, Rachaad White, pick 2. I go Dobbins against the Texans, Rachaad White against the Vikings. Great matchups. Exploit them. Sanders, okay. I think you get more upside with the other 2. Dom, if Watson doesn't play, should I start Mims, Sutton, Odell, or Jefferson? Sutton for sure. Sutton against the Raiders. Yeah. Like Jefferson. Van Jefferson. Okay. It's not Justin Jefferson. Sam, Monty might lose touches to Gibbs, plus Najee's a full on RB1. I mean, that is true. But you kind of always say that. Like, I mean, Najee could lose touches to Jaylen Warren, right? But I mean, Gibbs obviously very different than Jaylen Warren. But I just like the situation for Monty personally. I know you're responding to someone else's comment, but I just think Monty, the matchup's much better. But if you want to go Najee, like, I'm not against it. The volume will be there. It's just a matter of what is he going to do with it against the Niners unit, you know? I mean, if they get to the red zone, like, yeah, of course Najee can fall in, right? What do you think about starting Kmet if Kelsey's out tomorrow? If Kmet is available in your league, Kmet and Tyler Higbee, these are the 2 guys that if they are available and you are struggling at tight end, you pick them up. There's no questions asked. They were both top 10 tight ends last year. Matthew Stafford's healthy. Cooper Kupp's out. Higbee's going to be force-fed. Cole Kmet was a tight end 7 last year. He was very efficient once Justin Fields got going, once the offense as a whole got going. The offense is going to be better this year in terms of their passing attack. Kmet is fine. He's perfectly fine. He's a startable tight end even if you're not in a situation where Kelsey is hurt, I mean, it's still like, it's weird to me that there are leagues where Kmet didn't get drafted. He's perfectly fine. Eagles, Ravens, or Jags defense. Ravens against CJ Stroud for sure. But Eagles are okay. Jags are okay. They're all good, but Ravens. Flex, London, or Dotson. Dotson for sure. Yeah, I know. Wow. Ooh. I don't know. I like Drake London a lot, but I think for a 4, you go London. If you want to get a little crazy, you go Dotson, get that upside against the Cardinals. I'm very high on the Commanders this week. I've been high on these guys. I mean, they're offensive players, and they're, if you play in a league that has the defensive spot, I'm high on their defense this week as well. I mean, here's one thing that I will say, okay? Make sure you guys are trusting your own conviction, trust your gut, right? Because it's week 1. We're looking at a lot of things from last year. We're looking at rosters, changes, new offensive coordinator for Washington, new head coach for Arizona. We can barely name like 4 players on Arizona's team as a whole. All of this stuff is a part of the equation, right? But you got to be careful. You look at week 1 last year, Seattle's going to be awful. Seattle has no defense. Geno Smith is a starter. The Denver Broncos, they got Russell Wilson. Look at the receivers on this team, et cetera, et cetera. Who won week 1? Okay. The Seattle Seahawks won week 1. I don't know, okay? I just go back to that week 1 game over and over again, okay? And for me, last year, right? That week 1 game between the Seahawks and the Broncos, and I'm like, that is like the NFL in a nutshell. That is fantasy football in a nutshell. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, I think there's a lot of good logic to, I don't know, maybe there to the things I say when it comes to fantasy for the most part. But at the same time, and those gut feelings and everything, it all makes sense. But sometimes you put on a football game, and you're like, what in the world just happened? You know what I mean? And then you look at a team over the course of a season, and you're like, what? You look at a player, and you're like, what happened this year? So, hey, I'm high on a couple guys this week, this year, this month. I'm high on certain matchups. But who knows? Maybe Josh Dobbs rolls out there against the Commanders, and he is just slinging it to Hollywood Brown and Trey McBride, and James Conner is having himself a day. Expect the unexpected. But with that being said, start all the Commanders' offensive players against the Cardinals this week. That's my advice. But you get what I'm saying? Like, you just never know year to year, right? You just don't. All right, give me 1 second. My internet's been a little bit spotty today. All right, here we go. All right, Zach with the $4.99 super chat. Thank you so much. What a guy. Really, really appreciate you, man. Been offered Jamar Chase. I will give up Garrett Wilson and DJ Moore. Whoo. Devonta Smith is my wide receiver 2. DJ Moore's in my flex. Akers, Gabe Davis on bench. So you'd have Jamar Chase, Devonta Smith. Gosh, it's hard. Oh, that's a tough one, Zach. Because right now you have Garrett Wilson, DJ Moore, and Devonta Smith. You could have 3 top 15 wide receivers as opposed to maybe 2 top 5 wide receivers in Chase and Wilson. So, I mean, it is neck close, man. I mean, I like Chase as much as anyone, but I like depth. I'm a guy who I like to have options on my team, and call me crazy, but I think I might like the combination of Garrett Wilson, DJ Moore, and Devonta Smith more overall. Call me crazy. I seriously. Because Gabe Davis to me is nothing more than a complete flyer on your bench. Chat, we need your guys' opinion. Which side do you prefer, Jamar Chase or Garrett Wilson and DJ Moore? And Zach, if you have time, let me know your full roster so maybe I can break it down a little bit deeper. It is super close, my guy. I mean, always when you're in this type of situation, trust your gut, you know. But me, I'm a depth guy. I got to admit, I think I like Devonta Smith, DJ Moore, and Garrett Wilson. But I will also admit I might be a little bit biased because those are like three guys I really like going into this year as well. So that's a hard one for me. And I mean, Chase could be, he could be the wide receiver 1 if he's fully healthy. So it's close. The chat is mainly, everyone is saying Chase. I'm the only one who likes the other side. So, Zach, let us know. How are you feeling about it? That's always an important thing. How do you feel about the trade? You know what I mean? All right. Let me get back. I don't know what I'm doing in this draft anymore. I still haven't drafted a tight end. Man, I have just punted the tight end position way too much this year. All right, so we're looking for week 1 matchups. We're fine at running back. I don't even need to draft another running back. But let's grab a QB. I kind of like Geno right now. He gets the Rams. I like that matchup a lot. I've got Walker. I doubt he's going to catch. Maybe I go Charbs and Geno, but I wouldn't mind grabbing a tight end here as well. And then we're just going to need some wide receiver depth. And when I'm in a weekly winners tournament entry, all I'm looking at is purely who's going to score a touchdown this week, hopefully, right? All right. Let me get back to the chat. Zach, thank you again for the super chat. Diego, what's up, my guy? How will Zach Ertz do without Kyler if he's healthy? Man, I don't know. Fine. Probably. He's a talented, very good tight end, but he's old and coming off a major injury. I kind of like Trey McBride right now. I wouldn't plan on Ertz being extremely productive for you, but if he is, that's nice. GC, think I'm starting Gibbs and Monty. Lions are going to run all over Kansas City tomorrow. Let's go. Okay, let me make these 2 draft picks very quickly, guys. I'm coming right back to the chat, I promise. No, I needed Geno. Let's go. Some of you guys are going to hate it. I'm going to go Allen Lazard. I just have that weird feeling he's going to tumble into the end zone week 1. I'm going to go Cole Kmet because I just need a tight end in general. So, all right, let me get back to the chat. You guys are the best, man. You guys are killing it tonight. Please keep the fantasy questions coming. Guys, hit that like button if you haven't done so already. Good to see everyone tonight. All right, Carl is GOAT. Carl, you are the GOAT. What's up, man? Can I figure out who to start this week between Mike Williams and Godwin? I think both of them are right next to each other on ECR. Yeah. I like both these guys a lot this week. I think Godwin against the Vikings is a great matchup in PPR. Yeah, Baker's throwing them the ball, but the targets are going to be there. They're going to be playing from behind probably, and the Vikings defense is doo-doo. But Mike Williams, I would say Godwin for a floor, Mike Williams for upside. Williams gets the Dolphins. Xavier Howard could be on him. He could be on Keenan Allen. He could rotate, but that game just feels like points, feels like fantasy points, high scoring. He still has a tremendous amount of upside. You can't really go wrong here, man. I say Godwin a little bit safer. Williams way more upside, though. All right, let's see. Space Ghost traded Kupp and Ayuk for Waddle. Whew. I like Ayuk a lot, but if you're in a situation where you feel like you need to improve your roster right away, at least you have a starter, right? Diego, start one as RB2. Madison, Rashad White, most start. Then who should I flex? Sky Moore, one of the running backs. I would start Rashad White against the Vikings. Love that matchup for him. I don't love this matchup for Madison against the Bucks. They do have a good run defense. I mean, I don't know what's going to look like this year. The Bucks are in such a weird spot, but Raheem Mostert's fine. He gets the Chargers. Their run unit was bad last year. Sky Moore is fine, but I still think Sky Moore is a little bit touchdown dependent this week. Like, we'll find out, I guess, but it's a toughie. I probably go Rachaad White and Sky Moore. I go Rachaad White and Sky Moore if Kelsey does not play. If Kelsey does play, I'd probably go Mostert and Rachaad White. Jim, Mike Williams and Pollard for Chubb and Dotson. 14 team. You've got Pollard, Saquon, Williams, Metcalf, London, JSN on the bench. I mean, no, I keep Mike Williams and Pollard personally. I think you get more upside out of Pollard, and I like both Mike Williams and Dotson, but I don't know. I feel better about Williams and Pollard as a combo. Jake, what's good, bro? Rebuilding Dynasty, half PPR, stacked at wide receiver, Olave, Higgins, JSN, London, DJ Moore, Pickens. Nice. Week at running back, Brees, Shane, McKinnon, Wilson. Tight end premium, 1 PPR, Komet, Kincaid, Laporta. Porta and Pickens for Kenneth Walker and draft capital. That's probably fine. Porta and DJ Moore for Smith. I don't think you need to do that. Pickens for Pacheco and draft capital. Would you do any of these or wait? I might wait, bro. I mean, I think all those trades are okay. I don't know that you need to trade for Devonta Smith. I don't hate if you do, but like you said, you're in a pretty good spot at wide receiver. If anything, I might try. I mean, I might try and get Kenneth Walker, but like, yeah, someone might really gain in value. I don't know, man. I just don't think in Dynasty, I just don't put such a huge emphasis on running back personally. So I think like the fact that you have depth at wide receiver, hopefully you're looking good at quarterback. You're fine at tight end too. Could be better, but it could be a lot worse. And I just think you can rotate those RBs, and you know you want that foundation dynasty to revolve around the quarterback and wide receiver position. So I think you're fine. I would wait personally. If you are going to do a trade, I'd probably do the Pickens trade, but try and get good draft capital on top of Pacheco. Because that's the thing, like Pacheco, Walker, I like both of them a lot personally. But the reality is both these guys are replaceable. I mean, it's just the way of the game. It's the way the NFL moves right now. You know what I'm saying? Ghosts, what's good, man? Drafted my PPR 12 man. What do you think? Mahomes, Allen, Ridley, Michael Thomas, McCaffrey, Akers, Higbee, Javonte, JT. Looks fine. You got a little bit of injury concerns with some of those guys. I prefer a little bit more wide receiver depth here, but it ultimately looks fine, man. I mean, you got Mahomes, you got McCaffrey, you got a shot, right? Olave or Smith, wide receiver 2 in standard, already starting Wilson. I go Olave, better matchup. Gosh, I can't believe I'm saying I like Devonta Smith, but really in full PPR this week. Craig, should I flex Cooper, DJ Moore, Kirk, Pacheco, Connor, Zay Flowers? Cooper. Oh, if it's Christian Kirk. Yeah. I love Kirk this week against the Colts, but Cooper in the flex is fine. I mean, like you got Amari Cooper. He should be in your starting lineup. So Cooper or Christian Kirk. And I really like DJ Moore as well. Flex Flowers over Watson if he's banged up. Yes, that's fine, Tommy. That's fine. But if Watson is out there, you want to start Watson. Noah, full PPR, Hall, Gibson, Addison, or Mims. I go Gibson. He gets the Cardinals. Fire him up, baby. Should I trade Devontae Adams for Cooper and Jones? Depends on your roster. It's a pretty fair trade, though. All right, let me make this, or these 2 draft picks. Wow, wide receivers got absolutely decimated. I'm going to take Everett against the Dolphins and Hodgins against the Cowboys. I'm just going to punt QB2 because I have Lawrence. I think he's going to have a good week 1. So let's take Everett as our tight end 2. Let's take Hodgins. I like him as a sneaky value. And we have quite a few draft. Wow. Yeah, this has been a much sharper draft. I mean, you're just not seeing the same names. Like some of these guys you could have got a couple weeks ago, much later in this draft, but it's okay. All right, let's see. Chase, everyone seems to like me right now. Y'all are the best. That made me laugh. How do you feel about Dalvin Cook this week? I think Cook is okay. Like as an RB2, you don't have better options. I think Dalvin Cook is fine. I don't love him, but I think Hall's going to be slowly worked in. And like Buffalo is a good defense. I don't see this game being super high scoring, but all it's going to take is for Cook to stumble on into the end zone and like you're fine. You know, I mean, like obviously you want more than that, but I think ultimately, I think he's okay. He's perfectly okay. Let's see here. Anthony sent over my week 1 roster on Instagram. Would you make any changes? Hurts, McCaffrey, Bijan. What? Oh, yeah, I remember you had CMC as a keeper. Bro, your team is so stacked. Cooper, London, Hawkinson, Mike Williams, Dotson, Greg Joseph, Ravens. You got Eli Mitch, Cortland Sutton, Jerry Jeudy, Collins, Jameson Williams on the bench. No. I do like Cortland Sutton this week against the Raiders, but no, man. You're set, broski. Your team is redonkulous. Good to see you, Anthony. What's up, man? Dominic, should I play Rachaad White as my RB2 or should I try to find another running back? Rachaad White is perfectly fine. Good matchup against the Vikings. Fire him up. Don't think twice about it, man. Don't think twice about it. Sport Dog. Christian Watson has a hamstring issue. Missed practice. He is in one of my flex spots. I could go with James Cook, Brian Robinson, or Gabe Davis. If he does not play, James Cook is okay in full PPR, but I go Brian Robinson. Gabe Davis is okay. Boomer bust guy. I go Brian Robinson. E-Money, good to see you. I'm glad to have you back. Let's go. Carlo, Gibbs, or ETN. Ooh. I think ETN's going to have a good week 1. But I go Gibbs. I mean, you can't really go wrong there. Like, they're both going to have a good week 1. I don't know, man. I think ETN could outscore Gibbs. I think, guys, I like Gibbs a lot. I understand why people really like him. I understand the upside. I do think it's a good matchup. The Chiefs' run defense was not great last year. But Monty is going to be involved tomorrow. I don't know. I think ETN, like, yeah, Bigsby is around, but ETN's going to have a good week 1 against this poor, very poor Colts team. Cali Loco, 12 team, happy PR, pick 2. McKinnon, Dobbins, Dotson, no Kelsey. J.K. Dobbins against the Texans, Dotson against the Cardinals. Exploit those matchups. Don't overthink it. Yeah, Kelsey might be out. McKinnon could get dump-offs. But, like, by that logic, we should all be starting MVS this week. Like, we should all be aggressively going after MVS right now on the waiver wire. But the reality is, the reason Kelsey and Mahomes have that unique chemistry and they score the amount of collective fantasy points they do is because they read defenses the same ways. Like, there are a multitude of plays. Like, it'd be like 3rd and 18, and everyone knows Kelsey is lined up, but Kelsey reads the defense in such a specific way. He doesn't even run a route. Like, he just has like a customized route, and Mahomes is so intelligent from a football perspective, as is Kelsey, that they are both reading the defense at the same time, and Mahomes knows exactly where to put the ball. And everyone's looking around like, why in the world did Travis Kelsey just catch this ball for a first down? And, you know, MVS is just not going to do what Travis Kelsey does. You know what I mean? Sky Moore, like Jerick McKinnon, like, don't get me wrong, all these guys still have value to a degree if Kelsey is out, but they are still not players that we need to just go crazy for in fantasy. The value is still there. I'm not disputing that because there will be more targets, but they're still not going to bring to the table what Travis Kelsey brings to the table. So Don't get me wrong. There are circumstances where those guys make more sense, but Dobbins against the Texans, Dotson against the Cardinals, like, fire those guys up, man. Sanders or Madison, full PPR. I go Sanders. Craig, do I flex Amari Cooper or DJ Moore or James Conner? I go Cooper, but DJ Moore is okay too. Andrew, need one flex. White, Charbs, Addison, Flowers. I go Rashad White. J Fitness, what's good, baby? Monty or Rashad White? I go Rashad White in full PPR against the Vikings. What do you think about CMC for Bijan? I mean, I love both these guys. How can you not? I like Bijan more this year. If you can get extra, then yeah. If you get Bijan and another player for CMC, you take that and you run with it for sure. For sure. All right, I'm going to take DPJ. He gets the Bengals week 1. Guys, I don't even think I'm going to draft a second quarterback. Like, I'm going to take Tank Dell for a garbage time touchdown against the Ravens. That's my logic there. So I'll take, like, the best available quarterback, a 5th running back, whoever's there, and then just the best available player with that last pick. Godfather, I don't know if I said what's up, but hey, what's up, man? To see you in the chat. Diego, is Shane and Ahmed practice full? Does it affect most start? Probably to a degree. I never really have looked at Devon Shane as being out of the mix, but I still think most starts the RB1 going into week 1. So I would put him as the most likely to stumble into the end zone. Tumble? I don't know what I'm trying to say. John Simmons, what's up, man? Hello. Diego says, screw it, Sky Moore, and we trust in my flex. Yeah, I mean, Sky Moore gives you a higher ceiling, I think, than Madison. Diego. Carlos, start 2 between James Conner, Madison, Sanders. Sanders and Madison. I don't dislike Conner. And, like, I don't know. I mean, I don't like the matchup overall, not just for Conner, but for the Cardinals as a whole. Like, and, like, at least you got Kirk Cousins at quarterback for the Vikings, even if the matchup for Madison's not great. And, like, Sanders, yeah, like, you still got Bryce Young. But I don't know. I feel like right now I'd take Bryce Young over Josh Dobbs. But obviously that matchup could get ugly as well. Just rookie quarterback, his first start. So it's close here, but probably Madison and Sanders. E-Money, should I make any changes to my team? Herbert, Smith, Watson, Eckler, Jacobs, Andrews, Walker. I mean, it depends on who's on your bench, but probably not, man. Starting lineup looks great. Looks very good. Oh, bench is right here. Odell, Hopkins, Mostart, Richardson, JSN. No, you're good. You're good. DeAndre Swift season is in the house. What's up? It's my favorite username ever. Let's see. Mostart or Tony for flex. If you want to risk it for the biscuit, go Tony. But Mostart's the safer play. Kevin, Richardson or Rodgers to start this week? Rodgers for sure. Yeah, I like the upside with Richardson. It's a decent defense against the Jags, though, and I think Rodgers gives you a much safer floor. Yeah, Jake makes a good point. I mean, not that coaches' reports always really matter, but Dan Campbell did say that they're going to slowly work Jahmyr Gibbs in. And I've been saying it all week. I think Monty is the back to start for the Lions. Wilson, need help. Do I trade Tyreek, Herb, Olave for Tay, Waddle, Watson? I have Garrett Wilson too. Tyreek, Herb, and Olave for Tay, Waddle, and Watson. No. I'd rather have Herbert than Watson. I'd rather have Tyreek than Waddle, or Tyreek than Devontae Adams, I guess I should say. Olave versus Waddle is pretty interchangeable, but overall I'd way rather have Tyreek, Herbert, and Olave. Don't do that trade, in my opinion. J Fitness, Deontay, Debo, Hollywood, JSN, or Monty. Full PPR, I'd probably still go Deontay or Debo. Flip a coin. But probably one of those two guys. Mixed Z shot. I'm big on Bijan because I'm a Falcons fan. Seems he's 8 less points when Eli Mitchell's hurt or healthy. Yeah, I was like, wait, what? If you can get Bijan in an additional player value, I would definitely do the trade. Because I like Bijan as much as, if not more than C-Mac. So I would definitely consider doing the trade. Especially, like, I don't know, if the other guy's super, like, not as high on Bijan and really high on C-Mac, and you can get another player of value, then, yeah, I'd definitely consider that. All right. Tommy, McKinnon, Pacheco, or Pickens in the flex. If it's full PPR, you can definitely consider Pickens. But Pacheco is pretty safe for a good floor. Mark, rate my starting squad. Allen, Bijan, Akers, CD, Watson, Andrews, Ayuk, or Sutton in the flex. Yeah. Perfectly fine, Mark. Good squad. I mean, that's about as good as you can get. I mean, Akers, like, you know, when you're looking at like a hero RB build and you got a guy like Bijan and you can just rotate that RB2 spot, but you're solid everywhere else. Like, I mean, obviously Allen, you're fine. Bijan's your RB1. Lamb, Watson, Ayuk in the flex, Andrews at tight end. Like, yeah, dude, this team is perfectly fine, man. Maddie, good question. Derek Carr or Jared Goff? I go Goff because I think it's going to be a higher scoring game. I think Carr is like a player that could sneak up in fantasy value quickly, but week 1, the Saints defense going to be good. The Titans aren't necessarily a good defense, but they're not a bad defense. You know, last year they were good against the run. They weren't a great secondary as a whole. So, I mean, I would personally go Goff, but it's still close. Mixie shot, of course. That's what we're here for. What do you, you probably answered this, but what do you suggest we do with Kupp? Ask Connie. If you can get the right trade value, you can trade him. Like, if you want to be if you just want it off your plate, you want a clear conscience, a clear head about the Kupp situation, and you can get the right value. Don't undersell yourself. Don't forget where you drafted Cooper Kupp in your draft. But ultimately, sorry, let me make this pick. If you can't, then just hold him. He might go on IR. Just throw him on IR, and then that's the hand you were dealt this year, you know? Wow, I can't believe these 2 picks, but I will say this was a pretty competitive draft. I mean, everyone's out tonight, that's for sure. Noah, flex Kirk or Monty, Christian Kirk for sure. It's full PPR, Christian Kirk, no doubt about it. Love this matchup for him against the Colts. Chris, is Elijah Moore a must start at flex over Javonte Williams if I'm going against the guy who drafted Watson and Cooper? Reason being, what if Watson has a big week? Well, if Watson has a big week, then you help kind of equal out those points, you know? Because when Watson's scoring that touchdown, potentially to Elijah Moore or whatever, then you're still getting part of those points. It's kind of balancing itself out. Now, if Watson's throwing touchdowns to Donovan Peoples-Jones, David Njoku, and Amari Cooper, and not Elijah Moore, and Elijah Moore is just catching like 6 balls and still has a good stat line, then that doesn't help as much. But ultimately, for me, I don't ever really worry about like who is the other guy starting. I just worry about starting the best possible players for my respective team. You know what I mean? Because, like, you know, if Watson does have a good week, well, then that probably means Elijah Moore is at least going to have a decent week. You know what I mean? You know? So, like, I wouldn't worry so much about, like, the other guy starting Watson or whatever. I would just start the best players that you can, man. I got offered Ridley or Waddle for Kupp. I mean, it's just such a tough situation. If you just want to move on, both those guys are probably fine. But the thing I always tell you guys, if you trade a player of Cooper Kupp's caliber, even in the situation that he's in, you just have to understand the player that you're trading away. So if he doesn't go on IR and he does a lot of Cooper Kupp stuff this year, then like you still ultimately made that decision. If he does go on IR and then he comes back and he does Cooper Kupp things, then like you have to live with that decision. But like, do I think Waddle's going to have a good year? Yeah. Do I think Ridley's going to have a good year? Yeah. So, you know, trust your gut. I think it's okay. Okay value there. Chris, who wins the trade? Christian Watson and Freiermuth for Waller and Elijah Moore. In my opinion, Watson and Freiermuth for sure. DeAndre Swift season, Ridley or Keenan? I like Ridley against the Colts, but I think Keenan Allen, this is a good matchup for him against the Dolphins. I don't mind him at all. Matt, is D-Hop worth it for Kittle straight up in 10-team PPR? I got Lamb, Ridley, Lockett, London, and Judy. Yeah, I think that trade's fine if you're really hurting at tight end. But yeah, Pat Freiermuth, I mean, Lamb, Ridley, Lockett, London, D-Hop, like, it's not, and Judy, it's not going to kill you if you trade D-Hop, but I like Freiermuth. So, the trade is fair if you want to know that part. But I think Freiermuth is okay. Not as much upside, but consistency. Spence, I'm doing one more draft after this. What's up, Spence? AGZ, Sky over DJ if Kelsey is out. Kansas City game has the highest over the week, and Sky is better. QB and Jair is probably covering DJ. What do you think? I don't want to give up on DJ Moore quite yet. They might drop some plays where maybe Jair's not on him. You know what I mean? Kind of like that screenplay we saw in preseason, but I'm really only starting Sky Moore if Kelsey's out. And to me, he's still like a flex play. Like I don't want to go out and start Sky Moore. And like I have been a fan of Sky Moore all off season long. You guys know that. But I don't want to go out and start him against players that we went out and we spent high draft capital on, who we drafted to be starters in our lineup. You know what I mean? So for me, I'm probably still starting DJ Moore. Okay, sorry, I'm adding more money to my Underdog account and just noticed my phone is going to die. So I need to plug it in. Bingo. All right. Spence, I'm hopping into the puppy after this. Kelly Loco, happy PPR tight end for this week and beyond. Higbee, Irv Smith, Everett, Ferguson, Arizona, both guys. Henry Conklin, pick 2. Higbee, Everett. That's my answer. David, auction draft team is Wilson, Ritter, Mack. Oh, what happened there? I don't like that quarterback room, David. Javonte Cook, White, Gibson, Pirine, Houle, Kupp, Ridley, St. Brown, Olave, Thomas, Collins, Kincaid, and Joku Schultz. Start 2 quarterbacks, 2 running backs, 2 wide receivers, 2 tight ends, 2 flex. My guy. 2 quarterbacks. You got Wilson, Ritter, and Mack. 2 running backs, 2 wide receivers, 2 tight ends. Well, you're fine at tight end. Kincaid and Joku Schultz. You did okay there. Okay, I just need to go best available player. Who can score in week 1? Not Zach Moss. Jeez Louise. Such a stupid pick, but I'm going Mac Hollins. Oh, it's not showing on the screen, which is scary. I'm going to go Mac. Dude, I don't know. This is like glitching out on me. I don't know if it gave me my draft pick or not. Okay, did Mac Hollins, because I have Desmond Ridder on this team, and he's supposed to be the wide receiver too, who's not named Kyle Pitts. So, all right, if you guys want to hop into draft with me, I'm hopping into the puppy for a 97.6% rate. I'm hopping in right now. 30-second lobby. There's 10 spots. Now there's 8 spots. Hopefully that's 2 of you guys. 7 spots, 6 spots. Puppy 4, 30-second entries, or 30-second per pick, and it's a $5 entry. It is full. Let's go, ladies and gentlemen. Spenny's in here. Dubby's in here. Let's go, boys. Let's go. Let's go. Oh, Mr. Sarcastic's in here too. Let's go. I love it. I love it. I love it. All right. Here's my team. Geno, CMC, Akers, A.J. Brown, DK, Schultz, Cooper, Watson. And you got Hall, JSN, Davis, Bigsby, Bateman, Spears, Jawan Johnson. I like that team. Yeah, I mean, if you can trade CMC for Bijan and another player of value, I say go for it, man. Oz in the flex, Mike Evans, Davis, or David Montgomery. I don't mind Mike Evans against the Vikings, but probably I'd be boring and play Monty, but Evans is fine. Davis could be sneaky. Yeah, I'm glad we got into the puppy when we did, Mr. Sarcastic. Jacob, Kupp is hurt long-term this year. I think Higbee is def a top 10 tight end. He had career-high numbers. I know. I got sniped from picking Higbee in my home league tonight. I also admittedly completely punted the tight end position, but I was one pick away. I mean, the guy who picked him, I don't blame him because last year I, purposely screwed him out of a quarterback, which didn't even end up hurting him in the draft. Well, I didn't really purposely do it, but it just kind of happened that way because we both went late round quarterback and I took 2 in a row. He took Kelsey in the first round this year, so it made sense that he took Higbee when he took him. But I really wanted Higbee in that league. And then after that happened, I was like, all right, I'm just like, Kincaid didn't come back to me. Everett didn't come back to me. Schultz didn't come back to me. And I was like, I'm just going to completely punt tight end. And I took Jawan Johnson with my last pick. All right, sorry, not that you guys care. But, yeah, I agree. I think Higbee is going to be – I mean, Higbee was top 10 last year. So, yeah. The big thing with Higbee is Stafford's health, right? Wilbo Blappins. I love that name. Would you trade Ramondre for Pierce and Cooper if weak out wide receiver? I have Pollard and Dobbins. Yes. And I like Ramondre a lot, but yes, I would do that trade. Warrior Loft was good, my guy. Christian Watson has a hamstring issue. Too nervous to start him now. Would you start Sky Moore with Kelsey out or Drake London? Drake London. Can you even enter the... I don't think you can enter a slow draft for the puppy. I have to say, I'm thinking about entering a second one. But I'm not too worried, because if I want another underdog draft, I'll just do another weekly winners. Which, yeah, okay, all slow drafts are closed, obviously. But don't forget, guys, if you don't get into either the tournaments, there are different slates for the week. So... there's certain games, Buffalo at the Jets. You got Sunday and Monday Night Football, afternoon-only games, Thursday night and Sunday night. Ooh. You got Primetime Palooza. That could be fun. So there are different, you got Detroit and Kansas City. There are different entries you guys can still make. Spencer, I wonder who I'm going to take. Adventures from the Q, PPR week 1, Stevenson or ETN. A little worried about Philly's defense. I like ETN. Yeah, I agree with you. I think you go ETN against the Colts. I'm not out on Stevenson, but I go ETN. I go ETN there. I agree, especially if you feel more comfortable with it. All right, there goes Henry. I'll go Devonta Smith. Emil, who's a better back for the Commanders, Brian Robinson or Gibson? I'm not ready to say either back is the better back necessarily. They just bring something different to the table. So for me, I think Brian Robinson has a little bit better value overall where he's going in drafts. But Gibson certainly brings more upside to the table. So I don't know, but I could also see Gibson being more injury prone as well. So based on value, Brian Robinson. But at this point, no one really cares about draft value. We've all drafted, right? Does anyone have a draft left? And like, if so, is tomorrow just like a national holiday for you? Like you're drafting during the day and watching the game at night? They really, I mean, NFL kickoff Thursday, it should be a national holiday. And Super Bowl Sunday should be a national holiday. And the Monday after Super Bowl Sunday should be a national holiday. So there's my opinion. I'll take the stack. I didn't want to draft him over Mahomes, but I'll do it. Calvo, what's going on, my guy? Who should I start week 1? Godwin or Madison? Godwin for sure. Godwin for sure. Godwin against the Vikings. Sneaky guy this week. He's gonna have a great week. I like Godwin a lot. Madison, tougher matchup. Bucks defense pretty good against the run. Jeezy, I mean, if you feel better about Sky Moore, trust your gut. Trust your gut. J-Dubs, thank you for gifting 1 monthly membership. Emil, enjoy it. Tommy, excited to have you here listening in, my dude. Warrior Loft, we got you. Aiden, I have Cooper Kupp. What do you think would be the best replacement? MVS, Ashane, Thielen, Brees. I mean, I still think Brees Hall should be rostered if he's available. But is he the best replacement? That I don't quite know. I think Devon Achane's a nice little stash if you want to hold on to him. But if you need an immediate replacement at wide receiver, it's probably MVS. Thielen's banged up, but he could be okay. You just don't get a very high ceiling with MVS or Thielen, of course. So I do think the best player to have on your roster is Brees Hall. But he's not a replacement for Kupp. You know what I mean? All right, Cali Loco, half PPR 12 team. Herbie, Love, Bijan, JK, Mostert, Shane, McKinnon, Deion Jackson, Chase Brown. We got Lamb, Olave, Dotson, Jason Lazard, Saints defense, McManus. Looks pretty good here. For a competitive 12-team league, it's not bad. I mean, you're starting Herbert. Love's a good bench option. You got Bijan and JK to start. You got good enough bench running backs after that. You're starting Lamb, Olave, flexing Dotson. I like that. If you need a second flex, JSN or Lazard are sufficient. Good defense, good enough kicker, you're fine. Mixie Shot, I'm glad he could join us, man. Andrea, no more drafts. Yeah, I had my last. I'll pull up my draft here for you guys that I had. My home league, which is... I mean, do you guys all have your home league? You know what I mean? I've been in this league since the 5th grade. It's expanded in different ways since then, but I mean, I remember when this league was 8 teams. I think I was 6 teams at a point, but I mean, we were in elementary school, you know what I mean? So, yeah, this league is weird. But these are my homies, you know what I mean? So I'm happy to be in this league. I'll make these 2 picks, and I'll show you my draft from earlier. I've been drafting since 8 p.m., like literally. No, I was going to take Kirk. Damn you, Mr. Sarcastic. I'll never forgive you. All right, I might kind of punt wide receiver in this draft. I don't know. No. I'm going to go Dotson. Who needs running backs? I have Bijan. All right. Adventure from the Q, PPR 10-man league, 1 QB, 1 flex, Goff, Pollard, Stevenson, Etienne, Akers, JJ, Brown, Lockett, Ayuk, Dotson, Judy, Deontay, Kmet. Thoughts on quarterback trade targets? Goff is fine. I like Goff as like a streaming option, placeholder. Look at Love. Look at Purdy. Like, if you're going to continue streaming, like, there's going to be somebody who's going to emerge who's in that top 15 range. And I think Goff is okay for now. But Pollard, Stevenson, Etienne, Akers, good running back room. J.J. Brown, Lockett, Ayuk, Dotson, Judy, Deontay. I mean, good wide receivers. Like, I just don't like trading for a quarterback. I just stream quarterback this year. You have enough depth at running back and wide receiver. You can make a move, though. But what you have to do is you got to look in your league and see who is available. Like, who has more than one quarterback who needs a wide receiver or running back? What type of trade can I work out that doesn't hurt my team? Even if you have to put Goff on the trade, that's okay, too. I'm going to go Godwin here. But, yeah, I just don't trade 2 skill position guys. Trade Goff and a skill position guy. You know what I mean? Sorry. I'm dropping things. Okay. All right, here's my team I drafted earlier. And honestly, I should really have this pulled up as just my team roster because this is a keeper league and I didn't draft a kicker or defense. I drafted Tank Dell and Marvin Mims, and I unfortunately had to drop them, which I didn't really like want to do necessarily. But that's what I had to do. Okay, so here's my team. I drafted Lamar. I didn't have any Lamar Jackson shares this year, so I took Lamar. And I don't know. I could have taken Herbert or T-Law. But if you look at this draft, it was a keeper league. So when we look at quarterback, things were kind of shifted. Deshaun Watson was gone. He was a keeper. Fields was gone. Mahomes was gone. And Hurts was gone. So ultimately, by the time Josh Allen and Burrow were off the board, all I had left was Jackson, Herbert, or T-Law. And lately this year, I really like Herbert and T-Law, but I was like, you know what? I'm just going to take Lamar. Don't ask me why, but I took him. All right, so for running back, I went for guys who catch the football. Like, that was my plan here. Herbert, Rashad White, DeAndre Swift, and then I got Devon A. Shane and Zeke just as, like, bench handcuff type guys, okay? Devontae Adams, Jalen Waddle, Amari Cooper. Christian Watson was my keeper. I had him in the 14th round. Pretty good value. We had to submit keepers like at some point last week, so I didn't even know about the hamstring injury, of course, but I'm still okay with it. Then I got Sky Moore and Zay Flowers, so it took Sky Moore in the 9th, Flowers in the 8th. I liked getting Flowers right there because I thought it was a pretty good keeper value, but also kind of get that stack with Lamar. And I did draft Mims and Tank Dell. I had to drop them for a kicker and defense. I felt like they were unfortunately, the guys I had to drop. And I do kind of think they have pretty sneaky value right now, but I had to pick up a kicker and defense. And then, like I told you guys, completely punted. Here's where Higbee went at the 11.11, right when I was going to take him. But that's okay. And then, Laporta went here. I wasn't even thinking about taking him, but at this point, I was like, I'm just going to punt tight end and get guys who have keeper value. Everett was a guy I would have considered, but he went at 14.12. Wasn't really considering Musgrave or Mayer, but they went obviously a keeper league. So Jawan Johnson, I'm just going to have to play the waiver game at tight end. But, I was able, as soon as the draft ended, more than one person in this league did this, but I was super speedy. And I dropped Tank Dell and Marvin Mims. I picked up Jason Myers and Washington's defense, so I got some pretty good value at kicker and defense for what it's worth. But there's my team: Lamar, Herbert, White, Adams, Waddle, Jawan Johnson, Cooper, Watson, Myers, Washington's defense, Zeke, Swift, Ashane, Zay Flowers and Sky Moore. I'm okay with it. But yeah, weird, really traditional kind of home value type of draft. I'll show you guys a couple of things. It was just a weird draft overall. All right. I don't know. I don't know what I'm going to draft here. I'm just going to draft Jonathan Taylor. Don't ask me why. I'm just going to pair him with Bijan and see what happens. But yeah, I mean, we had like a defense in the 7th round. We had a kicker in the 9th round. We had a team take Schultz and Pitts within 3 rounds of each other. I mean, this draft board just makes no sense. I mean, this draft was just so weird. It always is. But this was the weirdest draft of this league I've seen in a while, for sure. So I think all things considered, outside of tight end, things went pretty well. But if I got Higbee right here, I would have felt really good about this draft. But it made sense for Tyler to take Higbee because he took Kelsey with the uncertainty in the air. So, plus, I think he also wanted to screw me. So if you're listening, Tyler, it's okay. I love you. But anyways. All right, I need to pick another player. In this draft. Give me Goddard. Give me an early tight end, baby. We're going to get a little crazy with this team. All right, Aiden, what's good, bro? My day is going fantastic. Thank you for asking. Herbert or Breece Hall? Herbert for week 1. Jonesy TV, what's good, my guy? Good to see you, broski. Appreciate you stopping by. We love having you. MGJM, rate my draft. Hat PPR. 3 wide receivers. 1 flex. 6-point passing touchdown. Jay Jettis, Olave, Hurts, London. Pierce, Mike Williams, Pacheco, Jamal Williams, Ingram, Eli Mitchell, J-Mo Algier, Deuce Vaughn, Rondo Moore. Pat's defense. So, I mean, let's just see here. 3 wide receivers. So you're starting. Who's your quarterback? I don't see a quarterback, but oh well. You're starting Jay Jettis, Olave, or you're starting Hurts. I'm an idiot. Hurts, JJ, Olave, London. Love that. You're flexing Mike Williams. You're starting Pierce. You're starting Pacheco. Good starting lineup. You got Ingram in the starting lineup too. Yeah, good team. For a 12-teamer, 3 wide receiver, good team. Jamal Williams, Eli Mitchell, J-Man Algier, Deuce Vaughn, Rondo Moore on the bench. Good defense. They got the Eagles week 1, but they're still a number 1 defense last year. Good team, bro. Rock out. What's good, man? Good to see you. Pick 2, flex. Javonte Williams, McLaurin, JSN, McKinnon, Tony Ayuk. Ayuk for sure. Then I think you either roll the dice on. I mean, if McLaurin is listed as healthy, I don't really mind McLaurin just due to the matchup, but I would roll the dice on Javonte against the Raiders or Tony versus the Lions. But yeah, Ayuk for sure. That part's not even close. McKinnon's okay. McLaurin might be an option, maybe. Aiden's T-Law, Cup, Chubb, Brees, Olave, Deontay Johnson, Hawkinson, Javonte, Warren, Ashane, Thielen. Any advice on moves I should try to make? So right now you're starting T-Law, Chubb, Brees, Olave, Deontay, T-Hawk. You need wide receiver depth. You can get through with Chubb and Brees. Your RB2 spot's not great. Brees and Javonte, like you can get through with those guys. You need wide receiver depth. So that's what I would be looking for, Aiden. Andrea, thank you. Andrea, have a great night. Appreciate you. Damir, get Burrow. Is Burrow's gone, my dudes. Yeah, he's gone at 4.2. I got Hurts, though. This is a weird draft for me, but I'm loving it. Long boy Frank, what's up, man? JSN or Monty in your flex? I go Monty. I like this matchup for him against the Chiefs, so I go Monty. JSN, first week, rookie. Let's kind of see what happens first. But he's okay. But I go Monty. Adventures from the Queue, PPR flex start, Stevenson, Lockett, Ayuk, Dotson, Deontay. I mean, like, quite frankly, you can't go wrong. I love all these guys. Lockett's fine. He gets a good matchup against the Rams. They're going to put most of their defensive pressure on Metcalf first. So, you like Lockett? I am not against it. All right, I'm going to go Khalil Herbert here. Need some running back help with JT as my RB2. Yeah, but Adventures from the Queue, I think you're in a really good spot there. All right, finally caught up with the chat. Okay, here we go. Domir. Full PPR 12-man, 2 flex, 3 wide receivers. Burrow, Barkley, Pollard, Ridley, Evans, London, Ingram, Akers, Dotson. Nice. Benches Odell, Mitchell, Lazard, Everett, Love, and Breida. Should I make a move for T? I mean, if you want to. It depends on what you have to give up, though. I think you're in a pretty good spot. You have 4 solid wide receivers here. Burrow, Barkley, Pollard, Ridley, Evans, London, Ingram. And is it 2 flex? I guess Akers and Dotson. That's a good starting lineup for a 3 wide receiver. I think you have a good foundation. If for me, I'd rather play the waiver wire. I don't want to be trading away assets. You know what I mean? Do you know what I mean? All right, I'm probably just going to draft another running back here. All right, I'm probably going to go for Gibson here. I was going to say, and if not, I'll just take B-Rob. So let's go Gibby. Now we can take a breather from running back. Oh, I don't know. We got JT on this team, so maybe I do want another running back sooner rather than later. But we need some wide receiver depth. We only have Devonta Smith, Jahan Dotson, and Chris Godwin, so I need to knock out some wide receivers. Connie, McLaurin is my fill-in for the time being with Cup out. Yeah, I mean, that does... And he is hurt too, but it looks like he's going to play, so that's the good news. You're not worried about Pitt's defense against Ayuk? Not really. They weren't necessarily a good secondary last year. I mean, they look pretty decent on paper right now, don't get me wrong, but I mean, it's just like the Niners. The Niners have a good defense, but they don't have a great secondary. So, for me, I'm not worried about Ayuk. And, like, Ayuk's volume is going to be there, so he'll be all right. He'll be just fine. That matchup doesn't feel great, but it is what it is. And it's more about just the overall game just doesn't feel great, right? Aiden, Thielen and MVS for Sky Moore. I would do that trade, yeah. I'd do that trade. Alan, what's up, my guy? Traded Cooper, Kupp, and Miles Sanders. Got A.J. Brown and Higbee. Okay. So you got Fields, Bijan, Connor, A.J. Brown, Ridley, Higbee, Deontay Johnson. I think that's fine, Alan. You know, I mean, it depends on what running back depth you have on your bench, but it's probably just fine. I mean, you got Bijan at the end of the day. You can rotate that RB2 throughout the year. So if you wanted the Cooper Kupp thing off your plate, then you got it off your plate. It is what it is, man. Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. Francisco just drafted 10-team 2 flex PPR. Lawrence, Pollard, Walker, JJ, St. Brown, Ingram, Debo, Dobbins. Love that team, man. Yeah. As long as Dobbins stays healthy. I mean, I prefer in full PPR a second wide receiver in the flex there, if that is a second flex. But overall, it looks like you got good value on Pollard. Probably got him at the turn. Ooh, you got JJ, St. Brown, and Pollard. Like, I love that, man. I love Walker as an RB2. I think Debo's fine in this situation as a wide receiver 3. I do like Dobbins, but I prefer a wide receiver right there. And Ingram's nice too, man. So, yeah, I think that's a great draft, even in a 10-team format. All right, I'll take Dobbs here. I know he's banged up or whatever, but I'm a Dobbs fan, so I don't care. Whatever. Question is, who in the world do I take next? Alan, of course, man, that's what we're here for. Let me know if you have any other questions. Aiden, should I try and trade Kupp for a wide receiver 2 in depth or just hold? I would consider it, but just don't undersell yourself. I mean, you have Olave and Deontay Johnson. If you can get a good enough wide receiver and a little bit of value on top, just don't undersell yourself. I think it's fine. Dom, in a full PPR, Christian Watson, Dotson, or DJ Moore. Ooh, I love all these guys this week, man, but I probably go Watson and Dotson. If you're worried about the Watson injury, hamstring, and everything, then just go Dotson and DJ Moore. DJ Moore does have the toughest matchup on paper, but I like all these guys this week. Francisco, I have McLaurin on the bench. Should I package him in Dobbins/Debo for an upgrade? It depends on what the upgrade is. But I think your team looks okay as is. And McLaurin ultimately on the bench is fine. So I don't quite know that you need to, but it depends on what you can get. You know what I mean? Man, I did want a little piece of Allen Lazard right here. I'm not going to lie. I don't know why I'm telling myself to just punt wide receiver, but looking at the board, I'm not going to. Let's go Van Jefferson. Why not? Everyone's doing it. Why not? Dom, you're very welcome. That's what we're here for, man. All right, guys. So we're, let's see, basically halfway through the draft. So let me know if you guys need anything, any fantasy questions, starts, sits, trades, waiver wire, injury concerns, matchup concerns, whatever you guys need. We got a little bit more time here. Once the draft ends, we'll wrap up the stream. I recorded a video for tomorrow, but I got to re-record it because I was using roster percentages based off sleeper, and the ones that I pulled up on my desktop were not correct, which made sense because some of the players I was going through, and I was like, he's 0% rostered. I was kind of like, it doesn't feel true, but it helps what I'm saying. But yeah, so I'm going to record a video, edit it real quick, get that up for you guys tomorrow. And then Steven and I will be on tomorrow night at 7 p.m. Eastern time to stream for an hour for fantasy Q&A right before the game. So make sure you guys come out, even if you don't have fantasy questions. Steven will love to hear from you guys, see some of you guys. And Steve and I will be doing that every Thursday at 7 p.m. Eastern time, just like we did last year. Chris, flex start week 1, Elijah Moore, Javonte Williams. I'm kind of starting to grow on Javonte Williams this week against the Raiders. So I might go Javonte. I think Elijah Moore's okay, but I might go with Javonte. So that's probably my answer. All right, let's see. The puppy is closed. I knew I should have entered a second one just to have it in the background, but the puppy is closed. If you guys want to enter any Underdog tournaments, the big dog is 77.5% filled. That will probably go through tomorrow because it's a $250 entry. Weekly winners is at 90.4%. I'm telling you guys, I don't know when I'm going to do it, but I might get another weekly winners in me before tomorrow. Somehow. I love that tournament, man. I just really do. Chris, Dak or Goff? I have Amon-Ra if that changes anything. I mean, I think Goff is fine, but I still want to start Dak. I still go Dak, but Goff is okay. I mean, if you really like the little stack there, I think it's okay. But personally, I'd probably go Dak. But I think Goff's going to have a good week, so I don't mind him. Aiden, Kupp for Godwin and Kirk. I would do that trade, yeah. I mean, if you're worried about your wide receiver depth, if you want the Kupp situation off your plate, over with, I do think that trade is okay. Chat, what do you think? All right, so I still need wide receiver depth, but I'm going to get one more running back. I'm going to go Kenneth Gainwell here because JT's on my team. Might pay off, might not pay off. And I'm just kind of punting QB2, tight end 2. So, I mean, I'm kind of hunting for wide receivers at this point in the draft. If they give me a little upside, if they're a solid wide receiver 2, they're on my radar. Falcons fan, what's good, my guy? Start JSN or Van Jefferson for Kupp. Also, if Kelsey can't go, would you go Kincaid, Johnson, or Laporta? I'd probably go Van Jefferson because I think there's better volume there, even though it's not the best matchup. The Rams are probably going to be playing from behind. They're going to need to throw the football, so I'd probably go Van Jefferson. Kincaid, Johnson, Laporta is kind of tough. I like Jawan Johnson. It's just not a great matchup for him this week necessarily. Kincaid, I don't want to start Kincaid week 1. I'm not there. Laporta, I don't want to start him. So I'd probably go Jawan Johnson. Yeah. Just keep in mind, the Titans were pretty good against tight ends last year. Aiden, the only problem is I think I might start slow, then pick up mid to late seasons. I don't know. Yeah, I mean, it's hard to say, right? I wouldn't whatever side of the trade you like more overall is what I would consider for sure. I'm just going to take Isaiah Hodgins because I like Hodgins. Let's see here. Ash, what's going on, my guy? Hello, hello. Good luck, everyone. Appreciate it, man. It's going to be a great season, guys. We're going to have a ton of fun. We're going to win some. We're going to lose some. But ultimately, guys, it's going to be a great season. It is. It's going to be fun. What are you guys? You guys drafting? What's Spencer up to? Herbert, Jacobs, Gibbs, Monty, Zeke, JJ, JSN, Burks, Mims, Jones, Dobbins, T-Hawk, Ingram. Nice. Sarcastic. Mahomes and Purdy. Name a better duo. There's never been one. C-Mac, Henry, Dillon, Shane, Algier. I like that running back room. Kirk, Deontay, Flowers, and Moore. Fryermuth, Kincaid. Nice. Dubby. Allen, I hate how it does that. Allen, Harris, Pierce, Charles, McKinnon, Diggs, Waddle, Watson, Evans, Brown, Bateman, MBS, Schultz. Nice. Good drafting, guys. Nice. I like that team, Dubby. Team Dubby. I'm so glad we got a little catch fam action in this last. This is probably my last draft of the year. So I'm glad you guys are with me. All right, Falcons fans, start JSN or Jefferson for Kupp. Oh, sorry, I already read that. Ferguson, Dulcich, and Everett are on the wire. Everett I like. I really like. I like Johnson this week, but I really like Everett. It's a good matchup against the Dolphins. High-scoring affair. There are a lot of pass catchers on this team, but I might go Everett. Better matchup. Big D David has Kupp, Hall, and JT. Jeez Louise. You think DJ Moore is a good start? Yes. DJ Moore, Johnson. Deontay Johnson for a floor. DJ Moore for upside. I'd probably start DJ Moore. But Johnson's probably a pretty good lock for like 10 to 12 points. If he scores, much better. but I'd probably go DJ Moore. All right, guys. I don't even know what my team is right now. Hurts, Bijan, JT, Herbert, Gibson, Gainwell, Smith, Dotson, Godwin, Dobbs, Jefferson, Hodgins, Goddard. I think that's a pretty decent little team. Grab Fields in the 5th round this year. What are your expectations for him? I love Fields. I think he could easily be a top 5 quarterback this year. So, yeah, no problem with Fields whatsoever. I've been a fan all offseason long. So, yeah, if you're good with Fields, I'm good with him, my guy. I got no issues whatsoever. I think he's going to improve as a passer. He's a good passer in college. I think that rushing ability there, so I'm all in on Fields. Ash, flex Devonta Smith or Herbert or Elijah Moore. You could go Herbert. I think he's okay, but I think if you own Devonta Smith, you roll with Devonta Smith. Start Cook, Breece Hall, or most start Cook. I go James Cook. Breece Hall's okay. No, don't pick up. I mean, you can pick up Deion Jackson, but you still have options here. I go James Cook. Might be a defensive game, but I still think that there's going to be enough passes involved in that game that I think Cook is fine. I think Cook is just fine. All right. One thing I did want to take a look at that Steven and I will go over tomorrow as well is some of the pick'ems for the week. Because I haven't looked at them since the lines have kind of moved. Can you still do this NFL season? When do these close? I think they close at kickoff tomorrow. All right. Who do I want to draft here? I totally forgot to draft my second tight end. I was going to do that sooner rather than later, but now there's no point. I'll just go Shaheed. Why not? All right, so what do we got for week 1? Guys, Mahomes, free pick. Mahomes for 1 total yard. Go grab it while you can. Let's see here. I don't really like a lot of quarterback lines usually. Guys, I do want to mention, while I do like pre-game pick'ems, if you're sitting actively watching a game, like you're watching the full game, not red zone, not I'm chiming in here and there, I'm not doing homework while I'm watching the game, I'm not playing Madden while I'm watching the game, you're chimed into a game, there's going to be halftime picks. If you have a good feel for the game and you feel like you can make some good selections and there's good enough halftime picks, that is where a lot of good opportunities are. I'll just put it that way. Gibbs over 7.5 rushing attempts feels okay. I don't love these. I do like Monty to score a touchdown. That's a line I like. That's a line I like right there. Oh, we got some defensive players. Oh, nice. I mean, Price Picks just okay. Looks like Underdog's added more defensive players this year. I like that. Mahomes 3 total touchdowns, kind of tempting. I don't know. I kind of like that line for Mahomes. Let's see. I don't love any of these other lines. Chase to score a touchdown, not awful. DPJ for 3 receptions feels kind of tempting. I do like Rashad White's line, right? Whoa. Rashad White over 19.5 receiving yards I really like. JJ to score a touchdown's not awful. I do like Dobbins to score a touchdown for sure. I would risk that for sure. I kind of like Purdy to throw a pick. I kind of like C-Mac to score a rushing touchdown. I'd feel better if it was a rushing or receiving touchdown. I'm on the clock. Uh-oh. Dang, this draft just dried up, man. Oh my gosh, it's awful options. I'm just going to take a third quarterback and take staph infection. Giovanni, 12-team league full PPR for flex spot, Sky Moore or Van Jefferson. Jefferson for a floor, Sky Moore for upside. Love Dobbins over. Yeah, I agree. I like Dobbins. I like just Dobbins any lines this week I like. Big D David, I think Amon-Ra St. Brown gets 25 points tomorrow night. I mean, I would not be surprised. Ash, Swift or Herbert? Herbert feels a little bit safer, but I still like Swift this week. I don't mind him. T-Law, 2 passing touchdowns. What? I love that line. Yeah, Travis Etienne to score a touchdown. I love that as well. But just don't forget, I mean, touchdown lines are always risky. You got to feel like ultra confident. Ultra confident. Aiden, before they bumped JJ, got him at 6.5. That's a nice line for sure. I think the Bucs will keep that game surprisingly competitive. Yeah, I like the slip here. Monty to score a touchdown. Mahomes 2.5. Well, really 3 touchdowns. Rashad White over 19.5 receiving yards. Dobbins to score a touchdown. Trevor Lawrence over. I love this line for T-Law. For sure. I mean, they won't have to keep that game super competitive more than likely, but I think they come out firing. The only thing I will say about this slip at the moment is, like, I don't really like betting, like putting a parlay, so to speak, down on Thursday night football, because then if the Thursday, if your line doesn't hit for Thursday night, then like you're just out for the week. You know what I'm saying? So that can be a bummer, especially if the other lines do hit. Wow, they barely have any Washington lines. That's a bummer. They'll put more out Sunday, though. That's the thing. Like, these are going to change leading up. And I usually do a video on Fridays going over my favorite lines for the week. Don't love Tennessee's lines. Don't love the Saints, but I kind of like Olave at 5 receptions. This is a game I want to look at. Kind of high. But I don't mind Hill's lines right here. And I don't mind Waddle's, but it's a little high. Like, when I'm looking at pick'em lines, like, I'm not looking at, like, yeah, this will probably happen. Like, Tyreek Hill will probably hit 100 receiving yards this week easily. I'm looking at what are the lines that we can kind of exploit and are kind of at a lower point and are easy to hit. You know what I mean? If that makes any sense. I had a fair amount of success with this last year, but that was last year. I don't know. Jacobs to score touchdowns, not awful. He's still Josh Jacobs. Not a lot of Denver lines, which is unfortunate. Some of these weak defenses they're holding off for now. But I don't really hate Javonte at 48.5. I don't really hate Jalen Hurts at 1.5 passing touchdowns. Ooh, what's Fields got all kinds of... I kind of like Fields' fantasy points. But it's 4-point passing TD. Herbert at 8.5 receiving yards. That is a line I really like. That's another one I really, really like. Komet at 2.5 receptions I like as well. I like Geno over at 2 passing touchdowns. I like Walker to score a touchdown. Yeah, there are some lines I like this week. I like Pollard to score a rushing touchdown. I'd be more comfortable if it was rushing or receiving. I never mind Saquon to score a touchdown in general. I like Hodgins over 30 receiving yards. Yeah, some pretty decent lines out there. I'll put out my official picks on Friday, though. Do I think Bijan does well this week? Yes. I think he's a pretty safe start this week for sure. No problem whatsoever with Bijan. All right, so I'm going to pick one tight end unless there's a wide receiver I really like, which there's not. And then we're going to wrap it up. So I do need to go ahead and skedaddle once this draft ends. So, guys, week 1 starts tomorrow. Can you guys believe it? I can't. I truly can't. Steven and I will be on for another hour of live fantasy Q&A before kickoff. Right at 7 p.m. Eastern time. So if you guys need anything tomorrow, be sure to let me know. We'll be on. Right before kickoff, we'll get to you guys, okay? Other than that, guys, thank you so much for being here tonight. Thank you guys for hanging out, talking fantasy, joining me for my final drafts of the season. I'm so happy a couple of you guys got to draft with me in tonight's draft. Thank you guys for all the fantasy questions. Guys, good luck this week. Good luck this season. Don't forget, as I always say, trust your gut, follow your conviction. I'm here to give you guys my fantasy advice, my fantasy opinions, but always, always go with that gut feeling at the end of the day. You guys are going to have a great season. I expect a lot of wins from you guys. It's going to be a fun year. It's going to be frustrating at times, but you guys are going to kill it. And I just truly, truly cannot say or express how much I appreciate this community and everything that you guys did for me this off season. It's been a wonderful off season. It flew by. I'm so ready for the fantasy season to finally be here, and it is less than 24 hours away. I mean, less than 12 hours at this point. So thank you guys for everything, man. I truly love you guys. Love this community. Love the Catch Fam. I love doing this. I love streaming with you guys, talking fantasy, drafting with you guys. I love everything about the offseason, everything that we do between our mock drafts and just having a consistent community. Thank you guys for helping me get into Dynasty this offseason. It's just been a tremendous blast. It always is. Going into our 3rd season, I can't believe where we are already as a community, and I just truly, truly appreciate you guys so much. I really, really do mean that. So thank you guys for everything, and I'll be on tomorrow with Steven at 7 p.m. for our first Thursday Night Football Fantasy Q&A segment. So once again, good luck, man. Thank you guys for everything. I'll talk to you guys tomorrow. With that, I will say thank you guys so much for watching and or listening, and remember, you saw it here on The Catch. And